Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you your favorite musical artist wasn't real? It might be far-fetched for some. I mean, I know for sure that my favorite is real, okay? But for some of you, you might actually not know. If you haven't dug into who you're listening to or who you're watching, we live in a world now where you might just not be watching someone who exists or listening to someone who exists. As I illustrate my point here, let's start light, okay? So take a look at my screen right now. This is the YouTube search page for Study Beats. Now, of course, the first thing you're gonna get is Lo-Fi Girl. Always, as always, it's Lo-Fi Girl. But then beneath it, you get other things. Japanese Town, chill hop music, Greenerd Productions, or Green Red, sorry. Let's just take a look at some of these, okay? Well, we'll look at the Japanese Town because it's the first one that shows up. As you can see, I've already clicked on this video. I already know what the answer to this one is, but let's just open the Japanese Town video, okay? What do we notice here when we click on the videos tab? They have hundreds of multiple hour-long videos with a very similar background and very similar style all on their channel. They have 569 videos, none of them shorts, some of them live streams. Oh, they're live right now, actually. All of relatively the same thing. And if we take a look at this one, the one that I clicked on before, let's just take a look here at the way Japanese was spelled. Or Japanese, whatever that's trying to say. Clearly, in the prompt, for whatever image they were trying to make right here, they wrote like Japanese text or Japanese writing or something so that the bot would make it look like some, you know, neo-futuristic purple Japanese landscape. Because that is what the theme of this whole channel is going for, the Japanese town. Now, of course, you can see the background to this video is very, very clearly AI generated, which is what I'm getting at. Some of you may or may not, I'm willing to bet that it's only maybe one or two of you, if any, probably a very small number. Your favorite artist might be AI generated content. Just take a look here at how incredibly easy it is to imitate what we just saw. I typed lo-fi music, let's click create, and let's see how long it takes for it to spit out something of what we just listened to. And by listen, I mean look to, because I wasn't going to take the time to actually play any of it. And you know what? We can do it while we're waiting. We can do it while we're waiting. You get the point. It just sounds like, it sounds exactly like it's supposed to. Let's see what in that time, from the moment I said, all right, I'm going to wait for this, to, I said, I'm going to wait for this, and then I looked at the video, and then I came back, okay? There really was no pausing in between that. Let's see what it spat out for us. Oh dear lord, there was vocals in that. I should have specified no vocals. Anyways, in the beginning, okay, you understand what we're getting at here. It's simple enough, okay? It is really, really easy to go about doing it. All that to say, though, was to get us to this point and introduce the Velvet Sundown. A real band. This is a real band. Just a bunch of very real dudes in a totally real band keeping it extremely real. This band is real, okay? And it's very easy to tell if they're real because it says they're real here, okay? It says they're real. It says they're not AI. A lot of people will find out otherwise that they're not fakes. We never use AI. We've never used AI. We're a real band. It feels so good to keep it so real. Basically, long story short, okay? This is an account ran by Shirley, okay? It would be insane for this to come out to actually be a real group of people, maybe using the guise of being AI generated to push their stuff, okay? But it's very easy to tell that everything going on within their band and their photos are AI generated. Now, in a second here, I'm going to actually show the Spotify page and actually show the work, okay? But just as we look through the Twitter account, because that's where the majority of these people, person, whatever it is, exists for the most part. Because if we look here, okay, this pinned post was from 3 hours ago, 34 minutes ago, an hour ago. Actually, you know what? Let's just do a little test. Let's reload the page. Has there been a new post? Because they seem to post all the freaking time. Okay, they haven't. 35 minutes, hour, 2 hours, there's a repost, 3 hours. They are on Twitter all the time, always posting. And if you notice, they post pictures of themselves, which I feel like is really a throw. If you're trying to make this persona of this fake group that actually exists, posting photos like this of yourself, I feel like isn't the best way to go about it, because yes, it does help some people, you know, confuse some people, but those who have the eyes to see can tell that this is very, very clearly AI generated. I don't know what model they're using, but you can very easily tell around, like, the second, you know, your human brain likes to focus on eyes. If you see human eyes, that is normally, or even just like eyes of anything in general, that is what you look at first the majority of the time. And you can immediately tell that there is something wrong around the eye area, particularly with the wrinkles and the way the skin folds. It's very easy to tell that it's not real. And as I was talking, okay, we're zooming way in here. This little wrinkle right here caught my eye. This interaction right there is not how it would normally work on a real human face. So, needless to say, okay, very clearly these photos are AI generated. But they don't just have one. They got two. They got another one further down. There's another one. There's another one. That's the same one. They've posted a bunch of photos of themselves, you know, in and about and around the place, okay? And I mean, hey, to their credit, the people all generally do look the same a lot of the time, okay? There were a couple of them in here when I was looking at them and I was like, those don't really look like the exact same people, but they're close enough. They're close enough. Now, this group or person has done a really, really good job of garnering attention towards this group right here, okay? Or, I mean, you know, towards themselves. If you scroll through their Twitter page, you see they talk to a lot of journalists, it feels like. There's a lot of people that they are talking to, and they're having stories written about them. Here's this little crash out that they had, or at least, you know, what feels like one. They had on June 29th, so this was like maybe 5 days ago now. Absolutely crazy that so-called journalists keep pushing the lazy, baseless story that the Velvet Sundown is AI generated with zero evidence. Not a single one of these writers has reached out, visited a show, or listened beyond the Spotify algorithm. This is not a joke. This is our music, written in long, sweaty nights in a cramped bungalow in California with real instruments, real minds, and real soul. Every chord, every lyric, every mistake, human. Just because we don't do TikTok dances or live stream our process doesn't mean we're fake. The fact that some blog editors would rather pretend we're a bunch of machines that admit an unknown band is out here grinding and made something people enjoy is insulting. We've had to lock down our personal accounts due to harassment, all because some writer wanted clicks and couldn't imagine people like us existing outside the sanitized indie media echo chamber. Shame on every outlet amplifying this narrative. We are real. Think next time before you erase real people. Now you can very clearly tell. They're putting emotion behind this story, okay? They're doing their best. And they did pretty good. They made it all the way to the Rolling Stone, which is a pretty big musical news publication. Although, unfortunately, once they made it to the Rolling Stone, they didn't make it to the Rolling Stone for being any, like, good artists or anything. They made it to the Rolling Stone for being an AI art hoax. Now, it looks to me like the man heading this is named Andrew Frelin. I hope it's Frelin and not Freelon. I hope it's Frelin. The man originally maintained that AI was used only for brainstorming and then admitted to the use of Suno, that platform that I just showed to generate that thing real quick. Not in the final product, but was used, and then eventually came to acknowledge that some songs were generated by Suno. And they're not saying which ones. So let's be real here, all right? They have, you know, a following. They're tweeting a lot on Twitter. They're getting a lot of interaction, all right? They've got news publications writing about them now. They made it to the Rolling Stone. They had a huge bit on the Rolling Stone where basically they're just like, yeah, we use AI in our videos. Let's take a look at how the actual performance is. Here is their Spotify page, okay? Just Spotify, actually. I originally pulled up YouTube Music. It was maybe like a third of the performance. So if we put both of them together, they're getting close to 1 million monthly users. Actually, let me just pull up YouTube Music right now. Did y'all see that too? It just went up 100,000, or almost 100,000 when I reload the page. I'm done doing this math, okay? Because the numbers will change by the time this video comes out. But they're close to 1 million monthly listeners, over 1 million monthly listeners, including all the platforms that they're on, okay? They are performing very well. And this whole, you know, even if they are real, if this group is real, doing this whole AI bit, which is what I think would be the best outcome of this whole situation, is faking that they're AI to garner eyes on the project and then coming out that they're actually real. If you were to create this music, okay? And then have it sound really good. You know what, actually, before I'm gonna continue, we're so far into this video, you haven't actually heard what their music sounds like. I'm just gonna click through one of them and we're gonna take a listen.
Rivers run red, the drums roll slow. Tell me, brother, where do we go? Raise your hand, don't look away. Sing out loud.
Okay, that's all we need to hear. Now, if you want my interpretation of what we just listened to, this doesn't sound real to me. Strictly, I'm not going to pay attention to anything that the lyrics are saying. I'm not going to critique on what is being said or the way, whatever story or message they're trying to display. I don't care about any of that, okay? I am strictly going to listen to the way that the vocals sound, because that is generally where AI is falling flat. It's not there yet when it comes to imitating human speech, or at least making it from scratch. We're not fully there yet. And whenever they yell or hit the high notes, it's not right.
March for peace, not for pride.
Now let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, there is a chance, because of the whole aesthetic of the band and everything, it could just be the microphone that they're using. They could be using an older model microphone that also would do something similar to that to the vocals. But because of the overwhelming amount of evidence through their entire Twitter page, the admission of using Suno in some of the creation of the music, even if you look at the album cover right here, this is an AI generated photo. I'm not going to give them that benefit of the doubt that it was mic quality because of all this evidence that has come out about what this is. I am more than willing to bet that every single song that they have ever released is almost 100% AI. I can't say for sure that they're fully 100% AI, because in the Suno tool, you're allowed to give it your own lyrics, you're allowed to give it your own vocals, which what I'm also willing to bet that they did was with the Suno Pro version, you can actually have like a set singer for a bunch of the songs that you do. You can actually retain a voice. So they could have put their own voice into Suno and then retained that voice for future songs just to keep it all cohesive and more believable. Maybe it's a real person singing. Maybe the people in the AI generated photos of the band are also real people. Here's another thing that I'd like to point out. We're gonna go one by one in every photo that they've uploaded so far. Not every, but a lot of them, all right? We've got long, curly, blonde, short, curly, long, straight. Long, curly, blonde, short, curly, long, straight. Long, curly, blonde, short, curly, blonde, straight. Long, curly, blonde, short, curly, long, straight. Another short curly. I actually didn't see him in the other photo. There's actually two of them here. Long, curly, blonde, short, curly, straight, long. Okay, you get the point. You get the point. It is the exact same pattern in every single photo, except for like one or two, right? It's just the same. I think that they probably just had a group photo of these four people, right? And then that's what they're using in whatever AI model that they're using to generate these photos, is they feed it that same photo and they say, make these four guys doing this thing, okay? I wouldn't put it past that these people that they're putting into these AI generated photos don't exist. They might exist, or they AI generated a photo of the four guys and then have just been continuing to use that AI generated photo for all the stuff. Maybe these guys are real. No one will know. No one will know until they come out and say, yes, they're all fake, or yes, they're all real. Here they are. It's quite convenient that they shut down all of their personal media accounts due to the online harassment. It's very convenient. I would assume that, if they were real, and if they didn't want the online harassment, they wouldn't have shut down their online social media profiles, because those are the only places that it seems that these people would be able to demonstrate, hey, I'm real, here's a spoon on my nose, I'm gonna stand up and do a TikTok dance just one time for you guys to get off my back, but they don't, and they won't. Anyways, with all that said, you get the point. These are so easy to put out, okay? They are so easy to AI generate this music. And I am more than willing to bet that so much of the music that you engage with online from a newer artist that probably came out within the last year, who hasn't uploaded their face or the name, hasn't gone on live and talked to an audience, hasn't done a show, any of those things, there's a significant chance that they are not real. And one that I'm actually surprised hasn't come out yet, because whenever I first saw this technology, we're gonna go back a little bit into the past, all right? About a year ago, some of my friends were screwing around with Suno a lot, and, you know, messing around and stuff. And when I was listening to the quality of the voices that came out of it, I immediately thought, huh, this sounds like a Vocaloid talking. One with very good, you know, pitch modulation and enunciation whenever it comes to consonants and stuff. And I was like, wait a second. If I were to just take this program and tell it to voice as Miku or a Vocaloid, unfortunately now I can't just straight say, make it Miku, because that's an artist and they've censored out artist names and song names and stuff that you can't do that anymore. Luckily, I still have an old song from way back when I was doing that is just set to Miku. But if you said, make it sound like a Vocaloid, put it in Japanese, you know, make it blah, 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 it is like indistinguishable from a Vocaloid. So I'm willing to bet somewhere out there is some Vocaloid producer that is just throwing this stuff into Suno. I'm going to give you an example of that one that I did over a year ago now. Just take a look at what this sounds like. Now, something that I do notice is I'm more than willing to bet that Suno is not designed for any language other than English. The thing about it is, though, is that the majority of people who would listen to this, or, you know what, not even the majority, I don't care about the Japanese people listening to this, saying, oh wait, that sounds like AI, because they're not my target audience. My target audience are the people who wouldn't be able to distinguish it. But I think I actually didn't get around to saying it. If you're familiar with the way the Japanese sounds, some of the words that it says, some of the way that it pronounces some of the things that it says, are wrong. They use the American pronunciation of some of the syllables in the words that they say, which throws it off a little bit. But if you don't know that and you're not listening for that, you will not see it. I tried again yesterday, just so I could see how the landscape has changed now. I actually didn't even realize that there was a new model that I had access to. The first one that I generated was in the old model that I used like a year ago. There's a newer one. It doesn't really work as well, in my opinion, for Vocaloid, but let's just give a listen to the other two. Before I play this, keep in mind, up here in the description, I was trying to imitate, I forgot the name of the group, Yoasobi. I was imitating a mix of them and Zutomayo, okay? So with that in mind, if you know either of those groups, just listen with that in mind too. Next one on the newer model that does better with voices, okay? So you'll clearly hear the difference in the voices in this next one. But same concept, same prompt. We'll see how this one turns out. Anyways, that's that, okay? And the voices for this stuff aren't like that. They don't matter that much, because one of the things about Vocaloid, unless your whole shtick is that you are the same Vocaloid for every piece, it doesn't matter, because there are so many different models of each voice of Vocaloid. You know, like Miku's voice has changed so many times. You know, there's so many other Vocaloids too, and their voices have all changed so many times. So whenever you get down to the nitty-gritty of it, it really doesn't matter that much. So I'd be more than willing to bet that there is some Vocaloid creator out there who uses AI, specifically something like Suno, to create their stuff. And with that being said, we've hit lo-fi, we've hit, you know, like 80s, 90s rock, Vocaloid, that every group, every music genre is probably cooked. Actually, now that I think about it, let's actually test a theory. Let's actually test a theory here. That's what I meant to say. I'm willing to bet Suno probably can't make breakcore music. Let's actually try that, because that's generally a hard one for even non-AI generation to make, or real people. Let's just give it breakcore and see what it does. What is that beat? Jesus Christ. Okay, no, this is so bad. This is so bad. We're not listening to this. If you've never heard the genre or don't know what the music sounds like, let me just show you what we are supposed to hear something like. Let's just take a look, okay? It made us do things. Maybe the other one has it. Maybe the other one's closer. No, this just isn't breakcore. This is pop music. I don't think you might have to feed it a lot more in the description. But I think breakcore might be safe. You know what? Also, I'm curious. Is there a way to just like? Is there a Reddit post somewhere where someone has like just compiled a bunch of AI generated artists on Spotify? I'm gonna see if I can find more. I'm just gonna do a quick look right now. Well, that didn't take long. I found another one. I'm not gonna play the music here. Okay, you might notice it's all explicit. It's all pretty explicit, but I can vouch this stuff is not real. There's another one. Okay, yeah, I'm willing to bet that this was probably another one on the list. I'm surprised that this was verified, though, which might make me want to believe that it's not real, but if you... I mean, just the way every single one of these has a separate, different photo with a different person in it, and then just, like, I just clicked on one of the songs at random. That is not what is it called? When the pitch modulation where it like sticks it on the note that it's supposed to be. Auto-tune. That's not what auto-tune sounds like. That sounds a whole lot like AI. Let's see if I can find another one. Erosion of silence, it's justice they seek. Oh shoot, I was listening to this one. I was actually kind of getting into this one and then I heard it. Man, this one sucks. I actually enjoy this music, but here it is right here. Erosion of silence. You hear that silence? You hear how they said silence? Silence. Right there. That's the hit. That's the hit. I mean, of course, there's a bunch of other tells on this Spotify page again. The artists, or sorry, not the artists, the albums. The art for the albums, okay, I'm not gonna look into this if I'm gonna be honest. Someone could have done these all right, but there's just a lot of them. There's a lot of albums, specifically starting in 2024, whenever Suno started popping off, okay? This is it. All of their releases are from 2024 up, no Facebook page, no Instagram page, nothing online. This is another one with almost 600,000 monthly listeners. Almost on par with what the Velvet Sundown was before the Rolling Stones article. Another verified artist was the Velvet Sundown verified? Yeah, no, they were verified too. How do you get verification on Spotify? How do you get verified? Why are these people verified? They're not real.
From here, you'll be able to search for your artist profile or copy and paste your artist URL to claim. Once your request is accepted, your profile gets the verified check mark and you'll have access to your dashboard.
That's just it. You just claim it. You just say it's yours. The same way I can go on Yelp.com and claim the Whataburger down the street as my business. I can go on here and say that just like I'm verified. Cool, thanks. Well, here's another one. Here's another one. Okay, this one's small. This one's small. Here's another one. Here's another one. I'm gonna try one more. I'm gonna try one more and see if I can come across AI generated Vocaloid. I'm gonna see if I can do that. Oh, nope. I think I got it. I think I got it. This looks like a nail in the coffin right here. Oh, come on, man. You did it in English too? This is the laziest one out there. If you've heard the way the Miku model speaks English, you would know immediately that this is AI. Let me see if I can find an example. Yeah, no, Miku does not sound like this. This is way too fluid. It's way too English. And this one's a casual 47,000. I bet I could find more. I bet I could find more if I looked. Okay, well, this one's not a Vocaloid, but I found another one on accident. Okay, well, there's another one. didn't take that much longer. 21,000. All right, needless to say, Spotify, and I'm more than willing to bet, I mean, surely they have a YouTube page too. And there it is, found them. Yeah, Spotify, YouTube, maybe even Apple Music. You know what? Let's check Apple Music. Okay, yeah, even this small Q gang, this is on Apple Music too. As was the art landscape whenever it was covered. Well, not the art, like the visual, like you can see it, art landscape was absolutely flooded with AI generated content. So too has the music landscape been. And I am more than willing to bet that many of you are not aware that the stuff that you're engaging with is AI generated, because this one is not nearly as well documented as the drawing one. The image generation has been around for a while. It is very widespread and it's very good now. The music generation, it's only been around for like a year and a little bit more now, but it's gotten really good really fast, and it has not hit the mainstream nearly as much as the image generation has. So a lot of this is and will sneak under the radar for a while now. Anyways, that's about it. Just another AI issue in today's modern internet landscape. So yeah, stay vigilant, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you next time.